Welcome back to the Grinder, folks. We are in the hizzy for shizzy. James is over here. You can't see me. James is looking mighty beautiful this morning. I don't know if you are watching this on Spotify, but if you're not, you should, because we are one of the only podcasts still able to do video on Spotify. It's unbelievable, James.
It is. It is.
I think it's us and Joe Rogan.
Well, that's humbling. It's humbling.
Massively.
Yeah. Very much so.
So what I want to talk about this morning, just kind of jump into it, and we're going to knock this baby out real quick. James, I was thinking about the time. It was about 8 years ago. Okay. And you called me. And at the time I was in between working for another company and doing real estate at the same time. And do you remember that time when you reached out to me and you needed to close a deal real quick? And you said, hey, man, I need you to buy some life insurance policy so I can get my quota or something by the end of the month.
Yeah. I do remember that. I remember that, asking a lot of people that. And you know what? The people who cared for me and believed in me didn't even question it. Did you question it?
Negative.
Yeah, you just said whatever you need, bro. Right?
And I was hurting for money at the time. bro, $10 was a lot. Dude, it was pinching pennies back then.
You know, that's a kind of a cool thing. We're looking over, when could there is probably a very short list of times where somebody could call me and I believed in them. And if they said they just need something, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, even example, as your career's built, like when we bought this commercial thing, you're like, dude, I ain't never fooled with commercial, but I'm going to figure it out. I was like, as long as you got it, dude, well, let's just work as a team, And we did, right? Like you freaking slayed this deal.
Yeah.
That's why they call you Magic Man.
No, they call me Big A, and it's not because I'm tall, son.
Oh, dude, that might be the funniest thing you've ever said. I love it. So, there is something to that, man. Believing in people, knowing you have your circle around you, you have people who you can trust, but that is earned. If I wouldn't have earned that trust with you, you'd be like, yeah, let me see what I can do. Right. And then you probably would just not have got back with me.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So, and I've done that to people, man. Some people who like jump from place to place, come, oh, you need to be doing all this over here. Like, but yeah, dude, how long are you going to be there? You going to be there next month after I just set everything up and did it?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. I ain't going to do that with you. Like, why am I going to abandon a relationship from somebody who's earned it, knowing you're fly by night right now?
Yeah.
Why? Because we know each other. Get out of here.
Yeah. No, and that's not it. And what I've been noticing is we've been really hammering back on all the folks that we've done business with over the past, few years. And it's something that I've been missing out on and assuming that, I did business with them in the past, and I'm just going to assume that they're going to do business with me moving forward. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting all the way down to like 2018, 2017 folks that I haven't talked to in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. And I've been surprised once by the person who was just like, hey man, we just listed our house 3 weeks ago. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
hit me right in the gut. But everybody else that I've spoken to, and this is something to be said, everybody else that I've spoken to said, man, you got my business. If I every time I come across somebody who wants to buy or sell their home, I refer you guys.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about me. Every single time I even think about real estate, it's you. And I was like, holy shit. And this is a conversation that I've had multiple times over the past few days.
So let me ask you, why do you think that is? And don't give me some bullshit, just standard run the mill corporate answer. Like, why do you think that is?
Because I think that the way that I go about business is not just the turn and burn. I think I know that I genuinely care about these people, how they get from A to B. And it's not, in my earlier years, it was when I needed money, dude, it was about the money. But I knew that if it was only about the money when I closed that deal, that person was never going to come back to me.
That's right.
And by being able to be in a place when I started in real estate, selling foreclosures and doing that whole process, dude, I actually got to know people. And it wasn't just like, hey, I can make $4,000, $10,000 here. It's, dude, these people actually need my help. And this isn't the best case scenario for these folks. This is the absolute worst. You bought a home, you can't afford it, and you've got to get out, or the bank is taking it. And we are in those, we're in those short sale situations. And I got to cut my teeth on that. And I think that's what really changed the game for me versus anybody else that's in this game. And that's why we will be number one.
And you bring a lot of energy too, man. Like, I think people underestimate the amount of energy. I mean, like, for example, I think you had a conversation with Thomas from my office the other day. And he got the phone. He just felt good.
Really?
He came in here, literally told me, he's like, dude, I just feel good after talking to Addison. Man, he's like, he had so much energy and stuff. It just pepped me up. You know what I mean? Like, that goes a long way. Like, that's the other big thing. You can be the most knowledgeable, which knowledge about your industry is extremely important, but that's not the only thing. Like, people do business with people like, and a lot of times what determines if somebody likes somebody is when the conversation is over and they walk away, how do they fucking feel? How do they feel?
Yeah, that's it.
They feel like they got somebody genuine. They feel like they just got a salesy person. They feel like they got somebody who knew everything but was cocky about it. Like, how do you make them feel? Do they feel like they got somebody who's on their team that they can trust? Like, all that shit matters, man. That's why we constantly hear, we talk about, like, not what you say, but how you say.
That's it.
The truth is, both are important. What you say and how you say it. And that's the kind of stuff we constantly mold and try to figure out and try to do better with. Because it's like, okay, this person has never, see, with us, it's a lot more high transaction. So it's tough going, okay, how do we provide a great level of service that's not just transactional? Some of it is, right? Like, somebody calls in just to make a payment real quick. Like, there's very little interaction in that, but you can do some stuff. You can have a peppy voice. You can ask them how their day's going, right? You can thank them for their business. Just simple things where when they call other places to probably pay a bill, because it's Friday, they just got payday. So we're one of 5 places they're calling today to make a payment. They probably deal with some absolute assholes, frustrated that they got to answer a phone, frustrated they got to work on Friday. And guess what? Then they call you, you're the third call, and then you're peppy. Hey, hope you have a great weekend, right? All these things, man. And like, that makes a difference. I had to go get fingerprinted yesterday, okay, for a license that I'm trying to do out of state. So I needed to go get fingerprinted by a uniformed officer to overnight these fingerprints in. So now I try to go to Newton County where I'm at. So I go down to local precinct. Lady's nice. Hey, there's a little piece of paper there. It's got the address. You got to go to the main location where the jail's at. That's where they do all the fingerprint. Okay. So I go park way off in a parking lot, walk all the way up, big sign, fingerprinting, right? And I go to walk into the door, just to the lobby, and they make it like it's me trying to freaking, like, trying to go into a bank vault. Then the sheriff's deputy opens the door, this older lady, and I'm smiling big, like, dude, you know me. I walk around half goofy fucking time. So I'm always walking around smiling real big. Smile real big. What do you want? Still smiling. It's like, hey, I'm just trying to come in and do my fingerprints. You don't have a mask on. Oh, okay. Didn't realize a mask was needed. Do you have a mask? A lot of places have little things in mask. We ain't giving you no mask. I was like, okay. I said, is this required for all public buildings? In Newton County, it is. I was like, oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll go get one. So I told her what I was there for.
Yep.
And then she did all that. I walked all the way back out across this big ass parking lot. come back with a mask, come to the door, and they say, "Oh, we're not doing fingerprinting."
You're shitting me.
Yeah, dude, I was just pissed, not because they were so unhelpful, And look, I get it. They probably deal with some shitty folks half the time, but that goes back to like, what's the public perception? I can't hire her. I can't fire her. I can't do anything. But now I leave. You know who I think? That sheriff's got a bad work environment. That's what I think.
Yep.
You know what? And now it's on my mind. The next time that son of a bitch comes up for election, I'm going to write a big fucking check to whoever's running against him just because it pissed me off.
Yeah.
And it's a principle of the matter. Like that is the time, like when somebody does not deserve, or they're not a paying customer of yours, so to speak, that's the time to be the best. That's when you make good impressions because you know it's not phony. So I left there. I went down to Covington PD just to see. Lady came up to the window, was super nice. She couldn't help me. You know what she did though? She's like, "Have you tried Rockdale? Have you tried Walton County?" I was like, I'm not a resident there. I didn't think. She's like, "Oh, absolutely. That don't matter. Try them. Call both of them." Super helpful. She still couldn't do the fingerprints for me. Go to Walton County. Guy's super nice. Don't charge me a penny. Helpful. Explain. And like, he's just so nice. Like, he's trying to get to know me. He explains to me how, as he's fingerprinting me, he's explaining like how the fingerprint stuff works. Like, he was just a cool deputy. His day was busy as shit. He put it on pause to help me out with some bullshit when he probably deals with prisoners half the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Totally different experience. Like, I don't know what kind of environment the sheriff up there in Walton County does, but I think it's pretty good one. Never met the guy.
Yeah.
And the whole people in the office were just happy people. And I didn't see any special celebration with those cake in the middle of the room or anything like that. They were just happy, nice people. Big fucking difference.
It's a big difference.
Yeah. So like, what are you putting out there? And sometimes just how you answer the phone for that customer that calls in once every 6 months, that might be the only time they ask for you this year. Now, I don't go on a long rant because I'm aggravated, but like, it's a perfect example of how we do and why we do it the way we do it. So like any company, we have clients that are just mean people. They don't even treat people on the other end of the line like they're a human being. And our thing is, we always talk about, it's like, hey, yeah, that person's rude, but you give them the same level of service and you try to take care of them, because we do what we do, not for that person. We do it for the clients that we love and we care about, So, put some perspective on that stuff, everybody. Like that shit's important.
Yeah. And 10 times that if you're in sales. 10 times that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the way that other person feels on the phone with you is everything. Because if they don't feel that compassion, if they don't feel that the drive from you, if they don't feel the positive energy from you, that you're not getting their business. And the way that you say things, what you say, are all multiplied inside that person's ear, because that's all you have, right? They're not seeing your expressions. They're not seeing what's going on the other side of the phone, right?
Yeah.
Your job is to make them feel good, make them happy, and get the job done, right?
That's right.
And for an example on this, there's a cat that keeps trying to get our business for like our social media.
Mm-hmm.
And every single time he calls me, I will never do business with this cat. And I've told him. He calls me and all he does is talk about how negative we are doing with our social media.
Yeah.
And one, if you actually paid attention, our social media is pretty good. Like we strive on social media over here. So one, you're not paying attention. Two, you're not actually looking at what you're talking about. You're giving me a generic speech that you give to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing but negativity coming from the other side. Like, you guys are not doing this right. You guys are not doing this right. And I've got to take that. And I'm saying, okay. You only thing you've done is just diss me.
Yeah. He's calling you a dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, guess what, bro? You will never get my business. He calls me at least 3 times a month. And at this point, I've just had to block his number.
You know what's crazy is if he actually put that energy into just having an engaging conversation instead of going, I'm fucking just going to dial for dollars. Dialing for dollars still has to be married with, it's kind of like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. No, it's both. Like you got to dial for dollars, but you also got to have a plan to that. Like, I mean, come on, man.
That's it.
So yeah, I mean, somebody starts off the conversation with basically calling me a dumbass. Like, you know, it's like clients when they call and they get upset and they're complaining about something and they're actually incorrect in their assumptions. But it doesn't mean their frustration's wrong. Like maybe they are frustrated. Like maybe things are fucking tight right now. You know, maybe they're just doing everything they can to make ends meet. Maybe, you know, they got a kid that's causing their life to be hell right now. I mean, there's a million things going on. Like, let's be a shining light. Let's provide some peace where we can, right? Yeah. So, but like, don't be macho or so arrogant that you like, there is a difference between niceness and weakness. And because you're being nice doesn't mean you're weak. So get that shit out of your own head. You can let people assume whatever they want to about you. Like your goal is to go home at the end of the day with peace, man.
That's it.
Like, and if you put some fucking values around yourself and what you're going to be, like, then that's what matters.
That's it.
That's it.
Be in alignment with yourself and your core values.
Yeah, I will say this, that I'm done. You just saying that about the guy calling, how he's doing it. So I was in a meeting with Ted Phillips, Morrell, and Ted. God, I love Ted. He's just got so much wisdom. And he picked up a pen and said, he made Morrell and I stand up. He said, y'all sell this pen to each other. So I went first, started talking about it, right? And then Morrell went and he talked about it. Morrell was pretty smooth. When we finished, Ted looked at us and goes, James, you asked 2 questions. James, you asked 1 question. Morrell, you asked 2. He said for us to sell the pen. So we immediately went to that as like fucking, like as a verb, right? Like the action item of selling it. So we were trying to sell the pen. And then Ted said, it's about asking questions. So if I wanted to sell you this pen, instead of going, hey, this pen's great, this is it, this is what we both did, right? He's like, think about like, hey, Addison, when you're using a pen, do you like the clicker on the top or do you like the spin? Right? Are you a fan of blue ink or black ink? Okay, great. Do you like a real wide ink or do you like a narrow ink? Like find out what the fuck you actually like, and then you present the solution, not trying to fucking cram something down somebody's throat.
That's it.
Yeah. So that guy, how much further we go? He's go, hey man, I see you got social media. Hey, you got some good stuff going. What do you wish you could do better? What do you find the most difficult about you do with your social media? Right? That's it. What's the most frustrating piece? What's the easiest piece for you? What do you love about it? Right? Like asking those questions and you start saying, hey, look, I got a solution for those gaps if you're interested in talking, right?
Yep.
That's it. That's sales, man. That's sales right there. Ask a shitload of questions and engage on those questions.
That's it. I mean, and that's, if you aren't asking questions, you aren't getting down to the nitty gritty of what the actual client needs. You'll never be able to provide it. And if you do, it will be short-lived. Yeah. Because there is going to be somebody out there that's asking the question that genuinely cares about what's happening. And that person is going to beat you 10 out of 10. Yeah. Yeah. So be cognizant of what you're saying, how you're saying it. And most importantly, be conscious of how that person feels on the other side of the phone. Right? Maybe you are that shining light today that eases up some pain that they're going through. In addition to that, if you ask questions, you will be able to get down to the nitty gritty. Yep. And if you are the person that is the product expert, this applies more to you than anyone because you got blinders on. You already know the answer before they even finish the question. You already know what would be the best solution. Shut the fuck up and listen, though. Yeah. The people that are the rookies usually do much better with this as long as they're taught it because they know they don't know. That's it. Yeah. So as you go along, as you become more seasoned in your industry, you better continue to reflect on that and stay humble in that approach. And
well, not humble. Actually, that's not true. Just like, are you mastering your craft or not?
Yeah.
And part of your mastering your craft is how you can communicate, how you can align with the client.
100%. There's a book, and I'm about to let James just drop the mic on it. There's a book that I've read that it's about Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second. Either way, I'll find the book and I'll put it in the show notes. Basically, it's about when Apple opened up and they were trying to compete in quotations against Dell. Right? Dell has a million different products. Right? And if you call the Dell service, they're gonna give you, and this is what one of the head honchos at Mac or Apple did was they reached out, right? They reached out to Dell. He called Dell and was like, "Hey, I need a computer that, that basically does this." He says, "Well, we've got this one, 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 this one," right? He just went down his list. He said, "All of these fit what you're looking for. Just pick one of those out." And what they wanted to do, have you been in an Apple store?
No.
Okay. So when you go into an Apple store, they say, "Well, what are you going to be using the product for?" Right? And then they ask you a list of questions, and then they provide you with the one that fits the best solution.
Mm-hmm.
Apple only has like 3 different types of laptops. Right? So it's very simple. They know which one they know which one you need, right? At the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the MacBook Pro, you got the MacBook Air, and then you've got a MacBook Pro Max, whatever, right? The one that does all of it. And they ask you so many questions that when it comes down to it, it's like, man, this is the best product for you. If you want to go above that, you can. But I think for what you're using it for is this, right?
Yeah.
And they mastered it. They mastered the art of questioning the client and understanding what they need and genuinely caring. You go into an Apple store and you're going to feel like the fucking man.
That's
So,
awesome.
just a couple different thoughts there, guys. So with all that being said, we appreciate you. Keep sharing this. Keep giving it out to the folks that you think that need to hear it. If you know somebody who's in sales, which we all do, because we are all in sales, we're all selling ourselves, right?
Shit. Now that is the best point of the day. You don't think you're in sales? Yeah. I can give you a list of 20 items right now.
Yeah.
I don't care if you work by yourself in a fucking closet.
That's it. And so what you need to do is send this out to those folks who you do think that may benefit from this, or maybe you have that person who I might even send this to this guy that keeps calling me. But at the end of the day, guys, we appreciate you. Keep sending it. We are a grassroots at heart to heart podcast. I mean, we have grown this straight from you guys, and we don't do advertisements. We don't do all this crazy stuff. We do this for you guys, and we genuinely care if you guys succeed. And that being able to see this podcast means that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, and that means the world. So, guys, thank you. James, do it to him.
Grinder out.